Boys and girls, welcome back to Beyond Belief Reacts. Today we're going to be taking a look at Coke versus Pepsi. If you do go on to enjoy this video, please go and drop it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure to click the big subscribe button. I'm really tired. You know what? I mean, have you seen me? I could really do with a Coca Pepsi, I think, to wake me up though. Here we go. Let's take a look.
One of the most legendary rivalries in corporate history. Almost everyone has an allegiance to either Coke or Pepsi. But which soda dominates the market? And which surprising companies do these beverage empires own? Today we're looking at the classic clash of the titans, Coke versus Pepsi. PepsiCo and Coca-Cola are by far the two biggest non-alcoholic beverage manufacturers on the
Xbox
planet. Over the past few decades, they have gobbled up hundreds of smaller companies, and neither one is showing any signs of slowing down. But regardless of your preference, Pepsi is the clear winner when it comes to revenues.
Is it?
PepsiCo reported $64.7 billion in revenues for 2018, while Coca-Cola's revenues were less than half of that at $31.9 billion.
I didn't know
However,
that.
the difference was not always as obvious. Between 2016 and 2018, PepsiCo's revenue has grown from $62.8 billion to $64.7 billion, a growth of 3%. In comparison, Coca-Cola's revenue has decreased from $41.9 billion to $31.9 billion, a decline of 24%. The vast difference in growth rates is due to Coca-Cola refranchising its bottling plants, which has led to a steady decline in revenues, which was exacerbated by decreasing demand for carbonated drinks. On the contrary, PepsiCo benefited from growth in its food and snacks portfolio and its acquisition of SodaStream.
What food
But
does
revenues
Pepsi
are
own?
not the full story. Pepsi has a total of $190 billion valuation, closing in on Coke's $212 billion market value. And many people believe that the lockdown is affecting these numbers. Coke has been underperforming Pepsi since the pandemic occurred in March. This performance divide has been widening throughout the year, and it appears that this course is poised to continue.
I've always
The main
thought that
issue
Coke
is that
was just
Pepsi
like
has been
Coca-Cola's
diversifying its holdings for years,
the biggest.
whereas
Like,
Coke still makes the
it's like
vast
asking
majority
someone,
of its profit
you know,
from
have you been to
carbonated
McDonald's?
drinks. As
Like, yeah,
consumers
everybody
move
knows
away from
McDonald's,
soda
everybody
and
knows Coke.
unhealthy
Like, I've
beverages,
always just assumed
PepsiCo
that
has
Coke
been
is the
filling the gap
biggest,
with
has
healthier
always
snacks.
earned the most money,
That has
and
made
everybody
all the
knows
difference
Coke.
in recent
Everybody
years,
buys Coke.
and Coca-Cola is struggling to catch up. The list of brands owned by Pepsi is seemingly endless. They own Aquafina, Cheetos, Aunt Jemima, Cap'n Crunch, Mountain Dew, Doritos, Fritos, Gatorade,
Is it
Izzy,
because
Life
Coke doesn't have any?
Quaker, Rice-A-Roni, Sierra Mist, Sobe,
They
Sun
don't own,
Chips,
like, food
Tropicana,
products?
Tostitos, Mug Root Beer, and hundreds of other labels both large and small. However, Coke owns its fair share of brands as well. The company is responsible for Bacardi, Costa Coffee, Dannon, Dasani, Sprite, Dunkin' Donuts, Fanta, Fresca, Fuse Tea, Honest Tea, Minute Maid, Odwalla,
A lot of
Seagrams,
those are
Schweppes, Tab, and
American,
Vitamin Water,
but like there's
among
some
numerous
huge
other
names
brands.
there though.
In fact, Coke makes so many different beverages that if you drank one per day, it would take you over 9 years to try them all.
Wow.
If every drop of Coke ever produced was put in an 8-ounce bottle and laid end-to-end, they would reach the moon and back over 2,000 times.
Lots of tea.
Coca-Cola has a product portfolio of more than 3,500 beverages and 500
though.
brands, spanning from sodas to energy drinks to soy-based drinks. During lockdown, people stocked up on snacks rather than sugary drinks, and PepsiCo reaped the benefits. In addition, more than 50% of Coke's revenue comes from out-of-house locations, like bars and restaurants, which were closed during lockdown. According to Pepsi's vice president, you saw a lot of stocking up on water and Gatorade and things like that. But there's real consumption changes, in particular in two areas. Number one is breakfast at home. People are eating more pancakes than those products. Second, people are working from home and they're tending to graze more during the day. So we have seen a real increase in snacking. As a result, the demand is sustaining. The beverage business is more challenging in that regard, as the away-from-home channels have either shut down or are quite limited. First, the food and snack brands give Pepsi a ballast against health concerns and other headwinds around soda. Soda sales in the US peaked in 2004 and have been on the decline in Europe and other markets in recent years. Diet soda in particular has been hit hard by concerns about artificial sweeteners like aspartame, and consumers have switched to alternatives like bottled water, coffee, seltzer, and coconut water, among other options. With less exposure to soda than Coke, Pepsi has weathered these challenges better than its chief competitor.
I suppose, but this video
Pepsi's
is
beverages
like the
are also
last
more
like
weighted
year,
to non-soda
right? Like,
categories
I want to
with
know
brands like Tropicana
overall.
and Gatorade.
I don't know.
Second,
get what I'm saying?
Pepsi has less exposure to
COVID,
restaurants,
but take
where
away
beverages
COVID.
were already at
I don't know.
risk due to the rise of
Coke versus
takeout
Pepsi,
and
who
delivery
wins?
apps
I
like
don't know.
Grubhub. Consumers
Know what
are
I
less
mean, though?
likely to order a drink with a takeout or delivery order than they are when they dine in. And
this is
during the
like within the
pandemic,
last
dine-in
year.
restaurant service has been decimated. Both companies have struggled to grow in recent years because they have reached total market saturation.
aspartame.
The stock
So
market is
bad for
based
you.
on a model wherein companies must grow in order to appear
Correct me
successful.
if I'm
Soda
wrong.
seems to have
I'm pretty sure like
permeated every corner
aspartame
of
is
the
in
earth
so
at this
many
point,
like drinks.
and the public's thirst for these
so
unhealthy
many
drinks is waning.
and I'm pretty
So
sure it
exactly
causes
how
cancer.
much of these rival
Don't
beverages
quote me
is
on that, 'cause I
consumed
could be
every
incorrect.
day? Not even
Let
counting
me
their
know.
other brands.
Pretty sure.
There are an estimated
Pretty bad.
1.7
Don't
billion
drink-
servings of
don't
Coke
drink any of those
consumed
drinks.
every day. That means that more than 3% of beverages consumed daily are Coke. Soda is the main source of calories in American diets, with the average American consuming more than 10 pounds of sugar from soda alone every year. Pepsi lags far behind this number, with consumers drinking fewer than 500,000 servings each day. So when it comes to the competition between which drink is more enjoyable, Coke seems to be the clear winner. Although Pepsi is
That's
doing
true.
better in the short term,
I
it
don't.
would be wrong to totally discount Coke. Coca-Cola's $35.1 billion in revenue makes it the 84th largest economy in the world, just ahead of Costa Rica. The Coca-Cola brand is worth an estimated $74 billion, more than Budweiser, Pepsi, Starbucks, and Red Bull combined. And although Coca-Cola revenue was 38% less than PepsiCo's last year, Coke generated more in soft drink revenue, around $28 billion versus $12 billion.
Jeez.
Both companies know that they are not likely to win new customers without aggressive marketing. Coke spent $3 billion in 2019 alone, whereas Pepsi spent $2.3 billion. It appears to be paying off. The red and white Coca-Cola logo is recognized by 94% of the world's population. Coca-Cola has also reported that its name is the second most understood term in the world. Behind
I've always
OK.
thought, right?
Coca-Cola spends
like,
more money on
the drink
advertising
game,
than Microsoft
like Coke,
and Apple
Coke versus
combined.
Pepsi. I feel like
And
Coke
the two
wins.
companies seem
Like,
to be
Coke
getting
game,
desperate.
right?
In
That
2018,
soda game,
Coke
right?
announced
They won
new
that.
Diet Coke flavors
Pepsi are winning
and a sleek
off these
new
like
can.
beverage.
The campaign was aimed at a younger crowd. The new
like, all the
flavors
food
like
and everything.
ginger
That's where they're
lime and
coming
zesty
in.
blood
And
orange
Coke aren't
call
really
to
doing
mind
that.
different
They're
variations
sticking
of
to,
trendy LaCroix seltzers.
you know, the drinks and
Millennials
the
are now
sodas, and they
thirstier
win
than
that game
ever
and they
for
dominate the
adventures
game.
and new
Pepsi are
experiences.
winning,
And we want to be
because
right by
they're
their
expanding the
side.
game. They're
Rafael
like-
Acevedo, the group director for
feel me?
Diet Coke in North
You feel
America,
me?
said in a statement about the new look and flavors. We're making the brand more relatable and more authentic. Coca-Cola spent 2 years on the relaunch. We would love to at least stop declining, if not get into growth. CEO James Quincy told analysts last week. I'm not sure just the flavors and the packages will get us there, but it's certainly going to be a
That's
good step in the
ridiculous.
right direction. Pepsi tried to appeal to young customers in 2017 with a poorly received commercial featuring Kendall Jenner offering a soda to a police officer on a protest line. After a backlash, the company apologized and pulled the ad. Besides being a waste of money, the botched commercial may have inspired Pepsi to play it safe with the New Generations campaign, said Laurent Grandet,
Oh my God.
a beverage analyst with Credit Suisse who previously worked for PepsiCo. Many people are pressuring Pepsi and Coke to modernize and make their packaging easier to recycle or compost. Coke uses 300,000 tons of
my
aluminum
God.
for its cans every year
Oh
just
my
for its
God.
US operations. That's equal to 17.4%
Oh my
of
God.
what the entire US aluminum
I really
industry
believe it.
produces.
I believe
The
it.
majority of these cans will end up in landfills, wasting both money and valuable
Hey, we don't have
resources
those here.
and spewing carbon into the atmosphere. But what is the history of these cola wars?
Is
The
that-
saga
is
began
that
in
a-
1886
that must
when John
be-
S. Pemberton developed the original recipe for Coke. The urban legend is true. Pemberton did use a coca leaf extract, which is derived from
That
the
must
coca
be an
plant.
American
This
thing.
is the same plant that can be processed into cocaine. Its early advertising claimed that the cola cured headaches and gave the consumer a slight buzz. It was described as a brain and nerve tonic. Pepsi arrived 7 years later in 1893. Its recipe contained a digestive enzyme called pepsin and cola nuts. Early Pepsi ads claimed that it cured indigestion and was healthful. Coca-Cola was already selling 1 million gallons per year by the time Pepsi came to be. In the early 1900s, when alcoholism started to emerge as a serious problem in the US, and various social groups began demanding a ban on alcoholic beverages, Coca-Cola decided to side with the anti-alcohol lobby. Consequently, in 1903, Coca-Cola removed cocaine from its formula, substituting it with caffeine. It then positioned itself as the great national temperance beverage. The actual war between Coke and Pepsi started from the year 1901, when Pepsi started to hit massive sales and Coke sales started to tank. Coke developed
Alright,
its
this is
iconic
true. This is a
contour
big
bottle,
problem.
got big name endorsements, and expanded to Europe. Meanwhile, Pepsi went
Aluminum.
bankrupt because of World War I. During World War II, Coke set up a bottling and manufacturing plant in Germany, which at the time was under
It's just
Nazi
insane,
rule.
isn't
Coke's
it?
other drink, Fanta, was formulated there. In 1947,
Yeah, this
Pepsi
is a
broke
big
the
problem. This
taboo
is a
of directly
huge
addressing
problem.
and showing
Not just
black
Coke
Americans
and
in its
Pepsi,
ads.
but like in
Decades
general,
before
like,
Black
huge.
Lives Matter, Pepsi
But
named
especially,
African Americans
obviously,
in top
Coca-Cola.
jobs, making PepsiCo the first big American firm to do so, staring down racists, including
Oh,
the
wow.
Ku Klux Klan,
Okay.
which organized a boycott. Fast forward to 1975.
Coincidence
when Pepsi
that
launched
they
what has
started
become
7
the
years
definitive
later?
taste test,
I think
the Pepsi
not.
Challenge. The tests, which took place at malls and shopping centers, saw a Pepsi representative ask
Wow, this is a
members of the
really
public
detailed
to
video.
blind
I didn't
taste
realize how
two
detailed this was
cola
going to be.
drinks, one Pepsi,
God.
the other Coke.
Oh, to get a history lesson.
Invariably, the result in the commercials was that most consumers preferred the
What
taste
is the
of
Pepsi challenge?
The Pepsi Challenge has been featured
Ah,
prominently in
alright.
much of Pepsi's TV advertising. Coke later decided to play
Interesting.
Pepsi at its own game, when in 2009 it ran a promotion reminiscent of the
I've-
Pepsi
I've
Challenge,
never seen
trying
the
to persuade
Volt-
consumers that its Volt
Volt
drink
drink? Is
tastes
that in
better
the
than its
UK?
rivals
I've never
Mountain
seen
Dew.
that.
Many people credit the true beginning of the Cola Wars to Donald Kendall, PepsiCo's legendary former boss. A gifted salesman, he rose quickly through the ranks from his start on the bottling line to become the firm's top sales and marketing executive at the tender age of 35. 7 years later, he was named CEO. In 1974, he injected a dose of fizzy capitalism into the Soviet Union, which allowed Pepsi to become the first Western product to be legally sold behind the Iron Curtain. By the time he stepped down as boss in 1986, PepsiCo's
Wow.
sales had shot up nearly 40-fold to $7.6 billion. His legacy continues to shape the industry. In the end, it all comes down to personal
True.
preference. Only you can
All
answer
right,
the question.
Let's hear it.
Coke
Let's hear it.
or
In the
Pepsi?
comments right now. What would you have? What would you pick? Are you Coke or Pepsi? I'm gonna controversial. It's not controversial. I'm picking Coke. All right, don't at me. Don't at me. Right, drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Go on to subscribe. Almost at the big 100 subscribes. Big 100 subscribers. Big 100 subscribers. So click the button. Just do it right now. Just to blow the screen over like there, somewhere, just somewhere on the screen. Just click it. Do it. And see you next time. Bye.